So, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome. Nice to see you all. Thanks for joining us. And we're going to have a bit of a go at singing some of the A Spaceman Came Travelling tonight. Possibly a little bit of Walking in the Air as well, just to finish that one off. But I want to spend the majority of our time looking at Spaceman because it's got some interesting corners. Before we do that, though, we should probably get our voices warmed up. So let's launch straight in with a quick na 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 na. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Two more. Na 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 na. Last one. Na 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 na. Lovely stuff. That's woken me up a bit. Let's do yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Relax the jaw. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Two more. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Last one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lovely. Being as I've taken you nice and high, I will take you nice and low as well. So, nya, 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 nya. 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 One more for fun. Nya, 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 nya. Lovely. Let's make sure that your lips are on ting tong. Your lips, your tongue, and your teeth are all in the right place. Mine clearly aren't. With the old rallarina. Rallarina, 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 ra. Rallarina, 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 ra. Rallarina, 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 ra. Rallarina, 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 ra. Rallarina, 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 ra. Rallarina, 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 ra. Last time. Rallarina, 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 ra. Rallarina, 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 ra. Well, hey. Well, your rahs were lovely. Let's go for a Bella Signora to finish us off. Bella Signora. Bella Signora. Bella Signora. Bella Signora. Two more. Bella Signora. Last one. Bella Signora. Lovely stuff. So, as I say, we're going to start off this evening with a spaceman came travelling. But I'm not going to start at the beginning. That would be far too predictable. I'm going to start at the first chorus, which is bar 42. Bar 42 with the chorus, which should start with, and it went. Now, altos and basses, you've got things that are similar to each other, but not quite the same. Your first phrase is the same, but after that, it's very, very slightly different to each other, which always makes life interesting. So let's do basses first, shall we? Just as a shake things up. So have a sing through it with me, basses, and let's see how we get on. 3, and now. And it went la 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 la. Peace and goodwill to all men, and love for the child. So a couple of small details within that bit. Something which is going to apply to all voice parts, because it happens lots and lots and lots of times for everybody within this song. It's kind of one of the main defining kind of stylistic features of this arrangement, is that we've got lots of moments where we're going to have the last word of a phrase starting kind of like the note below where it's meant to start, and then going up into it. So that final phrase, and love for the child, that child, just starting a little bit under the note and then moving up into it, that's going to happen loads in this song. And whenever it happens, I want us to really kind of dig into it, so we're really making a feature out of it rather than kind of trying to pretend it hasn't happened. So really use that, and love for the child. It's kind of got that feeling of almost like, imagine a electric guitarist doing a big power chord. It's got that kind of feel to it. It's got to feel, you feel like it's enjoying itself. The other little detail for basses, which is going to apply to the altos in your first and third phrases, but not in your second, and that's your last la-la at the end of your la-la-la-la-las, needs to be really, really snappy. So basses, your first phrase, actually altos, your first phrase is identical to the basses, so let's do this together. And it went la 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 la. It's that la 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 at the end that we need to make really snappy. Here we go, altos and basses together, first phrase, 3, and now. And it went la 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 la. That's it, that's snap at the end. Then bass is your second phrase, la 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 la, with it again snappy last la la on the end, 3, and now. La 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 la. Bass is your third one, the same as your first, 3, and la 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 la. And then peace and goodwill. Peace and goodwill to all men, and love for the child. Fun stuff. Altos, let's look at yours, shall we? So that first phrase, same as the bass's first phrase, we've got that one under our belts. But then we have an interesting change to the second phrase. So let's do the first one first. 3, and now. And it went la 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 la. So just like on Love for the Child, it's starting under the last note and sliding up. La 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 la. Just do that second phrase for me. 2, 3, and la 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 la. And then your third phrase has got the same snappy ending, but it goes down instead. 2, 3, and la 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 la. And then a big leap up for peace peace and goodwill to all men, and love for the child. Again, that child, and a nice little scoop up into that as well. Stitch it together all the way through, altos, and it went, 2, 3, and now, and it went, la 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 la. Peace and goodwill to all men, and love for the child. Happy-ish? Lovely. Last detail then, which applies to both altos and basses, the last note that you sing, child. This is technically what's known as a diphthong. Nothing to do with washing your underwear. Diphthong is when you have two different vowel sounds on the same syllable. So whenever you say the word child, it's got an a at the beginning, cha, but by the time you get to the end, it's turned into an I, child. If you try doing it without the I, then it just becomes child. So it needs to have the I in there. However, whenever we're singing a diphthong, unless there's a really good reason not to, we elongate that first vowel and sing on the first vowel, and we put the second vowel just right at the last possible second. So I want to get love for the child, and not love for the child, with it kind of gradually changing as you go through. I want to keep it on an sound until just the last ild at the last possible moment. With that in mind, shall we try doing that first chorus with both parts together? I'm just getting it queued up here, make sure I'm starting you at the right moment. 40, 38, and there we go. So this is a little bit beforehand, just so you can pick up the speed, and we're going in for the and it went. Here it comes. 1, 2.
And it went la 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 la. Peace and goodwill to all men, and love for the child.
That makes sense? Lovely. I think that when we're doing this in the room together, one of the trickiest bits to get right there is that second phrase, the second la 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 la's, because what the altos and basses are doing is very similar, but a slightly different rhythm. So that second phrase, altos, la 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 la, and basses, la 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 la. So your basses get the snappy ending, altos get the scoop up ending, and against each other, they sound like one or the other of you has gone wrong. It doesn't so much when you put the whole thing together, but just be aware of that. If you start hearing other people nearby to you, because of course altos and basses are often nearby to each other, singing a slightly different rhythm, then don't think that means you must have got it wrong. It's quite possible that that's on purpose. Right, that's the chorus. Shall we do some verses? Skip all the way back to bar 10. Bar 10 is the first verse. And altos, you kick us off. So let's have a sing through it together, shall we, altos? From a spaceman came travelling. 1, 2, 3. A spaceman came travelling on his ship from afar. 'Twas light years of time since his mission did start, and over a village he halted his craft, and basses, and it hung in the sky like a star. just like a star. So we can do this with both parts together because it's altos on their own and then basses on their own straight afterwards. First phrase for the altos is the tune, makes it nice and straightforward. A spaceman came travelling on a ship from afar. We decided when we were running this through in the room last week that we're going to put in a break after the word ship in bar 11. So altos, we're going to have a break there. It's going to be on a ship from afar. Do make sure it's got a nice clear P on the end of it, though. Otherwise, it sounds a bit wrong. Have a definite gap at that point. It just feels more right somehow to have a gap there. But then you get the funky harmony on To As Light Years of Time. Important that we get the rhythm here. So you've got this pervading rhythm that goes throughout a lot of this song, and we start introducing it in bar 12 on 'Twas Light Years of Time, and the rhythm is this: bum 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 bum. The light years of time since his mission did start, and over a village he, etc. You get that rhythm going all through a lot of this song. There are moments that don't do that rhythm, but there are lots of moments that do. Altos, that rhythm goes all the way through bar 12 to the end of bar 14. Light years of time since his mission did start, and over a village he. But then halted his craft is a variation from that. So you hang on to your whole of halted, and then tut his is really, really quick. Give it a go with me, altos, from 'Twas Light Years of Time. 'Twas light years of time since his jump, bum, 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 1, 2, 3. 'Twas light years of time since his mission did start, and over a village he halted his craft. Bum, 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 bum at the end, halted his craft. Put a definite gap in after village as well. So, over a village he halted his craft. So you need to shorten the lidge at the end of village to be as short as you possibly can to get that all to stick together. And then basses to finish off at the end of that. And it hung in the sky like a star. 1, 2, 3. And it hung in the sky like a star. Just like a star. Nice and short on the of just like a star. Get straight onto the star, and star is like this thing that we're doing all the way through the song, where you kind of start on a note and then slide to another one, but unusually this time you're going down. Most of them go up, but this one's going to go down. Just like a star. So just getting that kind of feel to that star would be marvellous. Let's try stitching that whole first verse together. Altos kicking us off with a spaceman, and basses being ready for anytime. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. A spaceman came travelling on a ship from afar. 'Twas the light years of time since his mission did start, and over a village he halted his craft, and it hung in the sky like a star. Just like a star. Happy-ish with that? First verse? Any questions? Any bits you want to go over again? Lovely. Then let's do verse 2 while we're there. Verse 2, basses, you are mainly oohing. So let's run through the basses oohing first of all. Sing it through with me, basses. 2, 3, and. And they were afraid. It's my favourite bit, that basses, the end bit, after doing your last ooh. and they were afraid. And hopefully, if you sing that with a nice bit of kind of body and meat to it, then they will be afraid. And they were afraid. Be beautiful. Just like we mentioned earlier on about the diphthong that we get elsewhere in the song, afraid. Just leave it on an eh sound, not and they were afraid. And to lead into an e needs to be eh all the way through. And they were afraid. Just make it an id on the very, very end. Make sense? To at least one of you. Excellent. Altos. You've got tune at this moment. We just need to agree on some rhythms, don't we? Shall we just sing it through together first and then perhaps break down any of the rhythms that are making less sense afterwards? Here we go for He Followed a Light. 1, 2, 3. He followed a light and came down to a shed where a mother and child were lying there on a bed. A bright light of silver shone round his head, and he had the face of an angel, and they were afraid. So, in this bit, first phrase, he followed a light and came down to a shed. Just making sure that we're nice and snappy on to a shed at the end of that, and came down to a shed. Then the trickiest one, I think, is the next one, where a mother and child were lying there. So were lying is really, really snappy. Where a mother and child were lying. Just do that much. 2, 3. Where a mother and child were lying. So the were lying happens really, really snappily. One more time on that. 2, 3. Where a mother and child were lying there, gap, on a bed. So there, on a bed, has got a definite comma after there. We're going to make a break in the sound to really emphasize that. Go from where a mother and child. 1, 2, 3. Where a mother and child were lying there on a bed. So you've got to really, really make sure you kind of put the brakes on and wait for that on a bed. It's so easy to steam in too early there. Next phrase. A bright light of silver shone round his head. Hang on to the ver of silver. Don't sh of shone too early. Okay, very easy again to do. Bright light of silver shone. And you get this big shh happening within the choir, and it's as though you're all telling each other to do it more quietly. So I need to make sure we get that. Hang on to the ver of silver. A bright light of silver shone round his head, and he had the face of an angel, and they were afraid. To finish it off. Go on then, altos, have a go all the way through that verse together, and then we'll do the basses all the way through that verse together again, just make sure that's still in there, and then we'll do both together. He followed a light. 1, 2, 3. He followed a light and came down to a shed where a mother and child were lying there on a bed. A bright light of silver shone round his head, and he had the face of an angel, and they were afraid. Happy-ish with that, altos? Any bits you want to check, or are you all right? Generally all right? Lovely. Grand. Basses, let's have a run through yours then. Make sure we've not forgotten that. And then we'll try stitching them together. Ooh, basses, 1, 2, 3. and they were afraid. Excellent, suitably spooky singing at the end, I'm sure. Lovely, let's try that with both parts together, shall we? I'm going to play from bar 18, just like a star, so that you can kind of get the tempo in there. Here it comes.
And love for the child.
Or not. Let me try actually playing from where I said I was going to play from. That'd be an idea, wouldn't it? 21. 18. I'll get there in the end. Let's try this bit, shall we, and see if this is roughly right.
Just like a star.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
He followed a light and came down to a shed where mother and child were lying there on a bed. A bright light of silver shone round his head, and he had the face of an angel, and they were afraid.
There it is. How did that go? Somewhere between all right and nearly. Fair enough. Grand. I would recommend actually basses. Whilst you're practicing this for now, there's nothing wrong with singing those oohs as ahs, because that will make it easier for you to hear what you're doing. And it's a good way to kind of just make sure that you were certain of that, and then change it back to ooh again when you're feeling confident with it. General tip for most stuff actually, because an ooh vowel, because you tend to have your lips kind of quite closed for an ooh, it tends to be a far quieter sound. So if there's a bit that's an ooh that you're struggling to really be certain about, then just try singing it to ah instead, just until you're more certain of it, and then change it back again. Lovely stuff. We then have verse 3. And verse 3 starts at bar 31. With the altos are having a huge amount to sing. Then the stranger spoke, he said. And then we find out what the stranger said. And in a complete kind of bit of typecasting here, I think the stranger is the basses. And the tenors, to be fair. So here we go, altos. Let's make sure we're nice and snappy with the rhythm on spoke particularly. Then the stranger spoke, he said. 1, 2, 3. Then the stranger spoke, he said something. And what he said was, basses, do not fear. Ba-bam-bam. So what I'd recommend just to find the first note for that basses is kind of sing along with the alto part with them, just down at your pitch. Then the stranger spoke, he said, do not fear. And you're going back to the note at the start of that. Then the stranger spoke, do not fear. In fact, if you don't sing the he said, just do the then the stranger spoke. Then the stranger spoke, do not fear. Then you've already sung the 2 notes you're about to sing. Makes it easier to keep those notes in your head. Once you've done, do not fear. You're on the tune, basses. The tenors have got the harmony, the basses have got the tune. I come from a planet a long way from here, and I bring a message for mankind to hear. So sing that out good and loud and strong, basses, when you get to that bit. I come from a planet, because you've got to overpower the tenors. It's all relatively straightforward, I think, kind of singing-wise basis, apart from the final mankind to hear. There's no time to sing to in to hear, just sing to hear. Okay, imagine you're from Yorkshire. I bring a message for mankind to hear, just to hear rather than to hear. Makes the rhythm nice and snappy. Happy-ish with that so far, basses? One more time for look. Do not fear. Here we go. Go from actually altos. Give us the then the stranger spoke. And again, basses. If you want to sing that along for now to help find the note, then feel free. 1, 2, 3. Then the stranger spoke. He said, "Do not fear. I come from a planet a long way from here, and I bring a message for mankind to hear." To which the altos reply, and suddenly the sweetest music filled the air, with an exciting crescendo at the end of it, getting louder on that last note, particularly. It needs to feel like it's coming right at you. Which would be lovely. And if you could also, there's a clue in the lyric when you start singing, and suddenly, sing it suddenly. And suddenly, ba-ba-bam. So it'd be really for that to be nice and snappy. And suddenly the sweetest music. And music. 2 notes on mu before you sing your sick. Here we go, and suddenly, 1, 2, 3, and suddenly the sweetest music filled the air. Nice little at the end. Basses, when the altos mention the sweetest music, you start to sing. Now, what does that tell you? Suddenly the sweetest music filled the air. Oh, basses. Oh, you get to be the sweetest music. So your bit here sounds like this. Again, crescendoing throughout, including making sure that you continue crescendoing through your last note. It's not that you just get louder until you reach the last note and then stay there. You keep getting louder all the way through. Here we go. So quietish to start, otherwise it's hard to get louder. Here we go. After 2 and 1, 2. It's got a real sense of building through it. There's not really any simple way to find that first note basses. I think it's one you have to just practice. Because the altos have got the and suddenly the sweetest music. Oh. I mean, it's the lowest thing in the piano, but if that helps, then tune into that. Otherwise, you just have to practice it, I'm afraid, and pick up that first note. And it went, and we're into the chorus that we did earlier on. So shall we try all of that third verse, altos and basses together, back to bar 31. Then the stranger spoke, he said, "Do not fear." I'm looking forward to that. Let's take it from, I'll play the phrase before again so you know where we're at. Here it comes.
And they were afraid.
1, 2, 3.
Then the stranger spoke. He said,
"Do not fear, I come from a planet a long way from here, and I bring a message for mankind to hear."
and suddenly the sweetest music. And it went la 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 la. Peace and goodwill to all men, and love for the child.
There we go. Verse 3 and a chorus. How did that go? Is that all right? Yeah, not bad. Good stuff. Any bits you'd like to ask a question about, run over again, make a general observation on? Ruth.
Hello. Can we just do the rhythm in Stranger Spoke again, please, at 30?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Let's go into it from the phrase before, so that you've kind of got that in your head. And they were afraid. And it's 1, 2, 3. Then the stranger spoke. He said, bum, 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 bum. Then the stranger spoke. He said. And I think one of the things that makes that a little bit trickier is that a lot of the rest of the verse has had that bum, 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 that rhythm going off. So it's tempting to think, then the stranger spoke. So you need to get on with the stranger, as it were. Don't hang on to the strain at the beginning of it. It's not, then the stranger, but then the stranger spoke. Ba-ba-bum. So just move on and it'll help. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Then the stranger spoke. He said, do not fear, etc. And yes, as Tim and Pat are both saying, practice definitely will make it easier. But getting our heads around it in this first instance is the key bit, isn't it? Making sure that you know what to practice. Shall we try stitching together the first 3 verses and a chorus? I know I've not done the intro yet. I'm going to do that in a second. Be a good chance to see how we're going to get on with these first few bits. So back to bar 10, and we'll take it from there. Yeah. A spaceman came traveling on a ship from far, etc. I'm going to play it just again a couple of bars before then, just so you get the speed. Here we go. Let's try stitching those first 3 verses and a chorus together.
La la la. A spaceman came traveling on a ship from afar. 'Twas light years of time since his mission did start, and over a village he halted his craft.
And it hung in the sky like a star, just like a star.
He followed a light and came down to a shed, where a mother and child were lying there on a bed. A bright light of silver shone round his head, and he had the face of an angel. And they were afraid. Then the stranger spoke. He said,
Do not fear, I come from a planet a long way from here, and I bring a message for mankind to hear.
and suddenly the sweetest music. And it went la 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 la. Peace and goodwill to all men, and love for the child.
There it is. It does keep coming at you at a pace, doesn't it, this one? It's one where you've got to really have your wits about you. So that is one of the reasons why I'm starting work on it reasonably early in the season, so I've got plenty of time to get used to it before we actually have to put it in front of anybody. But we've got the time to sort that out, hopefully. Where we also have got the intro to look at, haven't we? The very beginning of this one. So let's go right back to the beginning and take a look at that intro. The intro is 4 phrases, and phrases 3 and 4 are a repeat of phrases 1 and 2. So you've actually only got half the intro to learn, and then you've already learned the whole thing. So, basses, your intro goes like this. 2, 3, and la 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 la. So the only interesting part of that really that's anything other than straightforward is just getting that lift at the end of the first and third phrases for that to happen nice and snappily. La la la. Here we go. 2, 3, and la 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 la. Great stuff. And that little extra lift at the end of the first and the third really does help to pull it together, I think, gives it a bit more vibrancy. Altos, you also have, a repeat in this, but your second and fourth phrases are interesting in that they don't start at the same time as the bass one does. They're a beat later. And they start with a note that doesn't quite fit with the chord in the same way. So let's sing it through together and see what we make of it. 2, 3, and la 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 la. So you can feel how that second and fourth phrase, you just have to wait for a second before you come in with it. Because that's a key part of the rhythm of this. Let's try it one more time, altos. 2, 3, and la 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 la. A spaceman came traveling on a ship from above, etc. We're away. Make some degree of sense? Let's try it. Basses and altos together at the top. Here it comes. La basses, la altos. 4 clicks and you're in. Here we go. Etc. Does that hang together okay? It's that moment where you've got the second phrase, I think particularly, where the basses come in first and then the altos afterwards, just being ready to wait for that, I think is a really kind of key moment. It becomes even more interesting when you get the sopranos and tenors in as well, but I'm not going to worry about those so far. So do you want to just try that intro one more time, so we just get into the swing of that? I'm going to again wave at you as we're doing it. This hand is basses, this hand is altos. Okay, so as I'm giving you those, I did that right. So it's basses first, then the altos. So altos, watch out for that one. Here he comes. 4 clicks. Feel a bit clearer? Good stuff. Right, well, we've learnt the intro. We've learnt the first 3 verses, and we've learnt a chorus. So we should probably try stitching all those together. Of course, I am then going to let it run on and go through the rest of it There are places in the rest of it where I expect it might fall to pieces a bit. That's fine. There is at least one, if not two, more choruses in there. So hopefully at least one of those will sound all right because we've already learnt the chorus. The ending gets a bit interesting. Just very, very briefly, take a look at the very, very, very last thing that you sing in the whole song, just because I want to make it really, really sure that people know where they're at. Altos, particularly, you are very used to looking at the second line down to find the alto part. And on that last bit, the second line down is the soprano ones and twos, because we have an optional high soprano part on the top system. So it means that altos, you are third line down at the end there. Basses, of course, you're always at the bottom, aren't you? So you don't have to worry about how many people there are above you. But just wanted to be sure that you had spotted that and weren't trying to sing "and love for the" at the end. It's kind of swapping from alto to soprano by mistake. Yeah, just be aware of that. There's this moment at the end. I know I'm not covering the end properly tonight, but this moment at the end at bar 92, 93, peace and goodwill to all men, where the altos have got to carry the whole thing. Everybody else is bellowing away at the top of their voices, but the altos have got to cut through. So it means that there's a moment there where you've got to really, really let rip and not hold back in the slightest, particularly that love for the child at the end. It's absolutely the climactic moment of the whole thing, and it's down to you, altos. So looking forward to that a lot when we get there. For now, though, let's try stitching the whole thing together, have a good go at the stuff we've learnt tonight, and have a busk through the rest of it and see where it takes you. Here we go.
A spaceman came traveling on a ship from far. 'Twas light years of time since his mission did start, and over a village he halted his craft.
And it hung in the sky like a star, just like a star.
He followed a light and came down to a shed, where mother and child were lying there on a bed. A bright light of silver shone round his head, and he had the face of an angel, and they were afraid. Then the stranger spoke, he said,
Do not fear, I come from a planet a long way from here, and I bring a message for mankind to hear.
and suddenly the sweetest music and it went la 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 la. Peace and goodwill to all men, and love for the child. This lovely music went trembling through the ground, and many were wakened on hearing the sound. And travelers on the road the village they found, by the light of that ship in the sky, which shone all around. And just before dawn, at the paling of the sky, the stranger returned and said,
Now I must fly when 2,000 years of your time has gone by. The song will begin once again to a baby
and all the fireworks go off and everything else, and it'd be glorious. There we go. Give you half a clue as to roughly where we're aiming for. Lovely. Of course, what I'm hoping for is that, well, I'm intending for this one to be our final number in the concerts. Should be where we finish things. So I want to try and make it obviously a really, really strong one as a result of that. And give us a wave if you're intending to join us for the big concert at the Albert Hall, Nottingham. It's a fair few of you. Lovely stuff. Because for that one, this one will be the encore. And we shall also have our guest choir, who are doing their own slot in the concert. They will be hopefully joining us for the choruses of this one. So it will make it even bigger and more exciting. So that will be a thing to behold. Fingers crossed. Provided they learn it as well as you do. Right, shall we take a look at Walking in the Air? Because we did some good stuff on that last week, and I just want to, finish it off really, because we just didn't quite get to the very end. So I want to do that, if we may. Set this up, there we go. So, Walking in the Air. Shall we kick things off with just a sing through, just to remind ourselves of how it goes? And then if there are bits within that you would like to run through again, have a little assistance with, you can let me know and we'll take a look at those afterwards. I'm going to play it from the end of the soprano verse. So you ready to pick it up? For I'm holding very tight. Here it comes.
Very tight, I'm riding in the midnight blue. I'm finding I can fly so high above with you. Across the world, the villages go by like dreams. The rivers and the hills, the forests and the streams. Children gaze open-mouthed, taken by surprise. Nobody down below sky. We're drifting over icy mountains floating by. Us as we fly, walking in the air, walking in the air with you.
And there we have it. Oh, it's a glorious song, but got its moments as well, hasn't it, for us? So, any bits in that you would like to have a little look at? Tim,
69 for me, the mighty monster.
you'll want to look at the mighty monster. Fair enough.
I do, yes.
Excellent stuff. Let's see if we can rouse him up for you. Yeah, well, the beginning of this bit, the rousing of a mighty monster from his sleep, as far as that much, is hopefully should be the same as we had on bar 41. Nobody down below believes their eyes. Have the same thing going off for rousing up a mighty monster from his sleep. But then it's getting into the sleep, arise, arise, which is the fun bit, isn't it? I think that finding the first arise, I know it sounds a bit counterintuitive, but for now, don't worry about the Just make sure you're in the right place for rise, because that's easier to find. So let's just try that. So I'm not going to sing the at all. I'm just going to go from sleep to rise. It's going to be rousing up a mighty monster from his sleep, rise. Because that's kind of like the main note of the chord at that point. So give that a go again, and again, sing it through with me, basses, and leave off the of arise. Just go straight from sleep to rise. So 1, 2, 3, rousing up a mighty monster from his sleep, rise. Does that feel comfortable? Comfortable, which is a combination of comfortable and confident. Grant, so then now you know where rise is, then you can put in an arise to get to it, because that's like a horn call, isn't it? Ba-ba-bum-ba-dum, arise. And if you know where you're aiming for at the end of it, you'll get the note that goes into it a lot more easily. Here we go, from rousing up again, but with the of arise this time. 1, 2, 3. Rousing up a mighty monster from his sleep, arise. And once you've got the first one, that gives you the second one. Arise, arise. We're walking in the air all the way down. Lovely. So one more time, basses, and let's stitch it all together from rousing up to we're walking in the air. 1, 2, 3. Rousing up a mighty monster from his sleep. Arise, arise, we're walking in the air. We're dancing in the midnight sky, etc. Lovely stuff. Grand. Other sections, all the same section for the Altos, I don't mind. Any bits that anybody would like to have a look at? Ruth.
Sorry, me again. 71.
No, apologise. It's good to have the help. 71.
Yeah, 71 and 73. I think it was slightly different to the previous.
It is different to the earlier ones. Absolutely, it is. Yes. And just so you know why, because sometimes it's helpful to know why things are different rather than just having to remember that they are different. We've had this massive build-up in this rousing up a mighty monster from his sleep, arise. And if you do the original harmony there, then the original harmony, that first chord is really spaced out. So you get this. That's your first chord. So bass is down there, tenors there, altos there, and sopranos up there. Really, really spaced out. And if you have a chord really, really spaced out, it tends to give it lots of kind of airiness, lots of kind of, it feels kind of quite grand, but it doesn't feel punchy. And this moment needs to feel really, really punchy. And so the way to make something feel punchy is to bring all the notes really close to each other. And that gives it a far stronger, punchier sound. So the basses are ending up, instead of being all the way down there, they're all the way up there. The tenors before were on that note, and now they're on that note. You before were on that note, and now you're on that note. And the sopranos have stayed in the same place. So instead of this chord, spread out, you get this one. It just feels a little bit more urgent, a little bit more driving. Everybody a bit higher in the voices. But that doesn't help you pitch it, does it? So let's have a look at finding it, shall we? Once you've finished doing the rising up a mighty monster from his sleep, arise, stay in the same place, we're walking in the air. You just drop on the air at the end, but the walking stays on the same note as you just sang on arise, we're. Arise, we're walking in the air. And then you repeat that pattern. We're dancing in the midnight sky. Once you're on sky, you're on the same tunes as you've had in the earlier ones. So the only bit that's different is that walking in the air, dancing in the mid. So yeah, and on those you just stay on your starting note rather than going down like you did earlier on in holding very tight, or we're surfing in the air, but this time we're walking in the air. You just stay on that first note for a bit longer. Any other bits? None? It's all going to be glorious. Can I be a doubting Timothy and just ask you to try something? Oh no, Pat's come in with a question. She's going to get to it before I do.
It's the end bit. I couldn't
It's
press
the
the
end
button.
bit. Yes.
Yeah, it's the end bit, please.
I'm in the same place as you, Pat. I'm in the same place as you. Is it getting into that first walking in the air after greets us as we fly?
Yeah, but not so much that bit. It's the
Okay.
the very last bit, the with you.
The with you.
Goes on
fine.
forever and a day, doesn't it?
It does indeed go on forever and a day. As ever, with stupidly long notes, it's fine to put a breath in the middle of them and then come back in again. So don't feel like you've got to do it all in one. It's fine to do staggered breathing through that. Don't feel like you've got to turn your lungs inside out in order to make it work. But let's just do that going into the finding that walking in the air, because I think that's quite tricky for the altos. The phrase before it is, and everyone who sees us greets us as we fly. So I'm going to sing that with you, and then I want you to just sing the first note of walking in the air. Just sing walk and hang on to it, okay? I'm not going to sing it at the same time as you. I'm going to sing it a second or two later, and then you can check whether I'm singing the same as you or not. And if I am, that means you got it right. And if you're not, then we need to figure out what's gone wrong. Okay, so from, and everyone who sees, 1, 2, 3. And everyone who sees us greets us as we fly. Here we go. Is that the note you went for? Then bravo and hooray and congratulations, because I think that's an awkward one to pitch. And if you're all getting it, then bravo. So once you've got there, let's sing through the ending, shall we? Here we go, from that war of walking in the air. 2, 3, and walking in the air, walking in the air with you. What I'm aiming for with that last diminuendo, the last getting quieter through that last phrase, is we start the first of those two walking in the airs loud, F for loud, but then we gradually get quieter all the way through it until we end up with PPP. Now, PPP is almost indistinguishable from not singing at all. So what I'd like to get the effect of, which we can't really completely pull off when we're practicing it at home on our own, but we can do when we all get together as a choir, I want that last chord to feel like it kind of just evaporates and just disappears, and there's not a defined moment when the sound stops. it just gets quieter and quieter and quieter and quieter until you just realize that you can't hear it anymore, but you don't know exactly when that happened. Now I know that the way that the voice works, and if you're trying to get quieter on a held note, then sometimes your voice just cuts out, doesn't it, when you're not kind of quite ready for it to, and it'll just disappear. If that happens in this bit, just let it go. Don't worry about it. Don't try and come back in again. Okay, even if I'm kind of still indicating to hold the sound on, just let the sound go, because that means that we might end up with a few singers dropping out as the chord is being held, and that will help to give that effect of everything just getting quieter and quieter. You do need to make sure that you stop by the end of it and aren't still hanging it on very, very quietly by the time you get to the end. What I tend to do is once I hit that note on you, I just give this kind of indication of just bringing it down, bringing it down, bringing it down. Eventually, it's just gone. Okay, but I want it to be so that it gets to the point that you can't possibly sing it any quieter before it disappears. And because the orchestra keep playing even after we've finished, it means that hopefully it gets to the point where the volume of the choir is so quiet that you can't hear it against the orchestra, and then the choir stop and you still can't hear it against the orchestra, and it's just been this really seamless transition from singing to no singing. I don't ask for much, do I? So shall we try that ending, see if we can pull that off? Go from, 79, isn't it? Walking in the air with you. Here we go. First note, spaces, walking in the air. Altos, walking in the air. Altos, spaces. 1, 2, 3.
Walking in the air, walking in the air with you.
Say, when you're singing at home on your own, then there will be a definite point at which you have stopped singing. That's unavoidable when there's just one voice in the room, but when there's 100, then it will feel like it's a really, really gradual transition. Lovely stuff. Any other bits that anybody wants to look at? You're all right with suddenly swooping low, etc.? That's the other bit which we've not really spent a lot of time on, but if you're comfortable with it, then I'm comfortable with it too. Any other options, any other opening offers for any bits that you want to look at? Going once. Going twice. Sold to the choir on Zoom. Right, let's go all the way through the whole darn thing then, shall we? Just before we do, I'll mention that the plan for next week is that I want to obviously spend a bit more time with The Spaceman Came Travelling, just to look at some of the sections of that we've not looked at yet. But also, I want to make a start on the Queen, A Winter's Tale, please. I know we've done the David Essex one already, but we're going to do the Queen one starting from next week. Hopefully, that won't take us too much doing, because although there are a couple of interesting moments in it, a lot of it's fairly straightforward. For you, anyway. I couldn't say the same for The Sopranos. The Soprano part's quite complex. But everybody else is not that difficult. So make them work for it, eh? Here we go. Let's do Walking in the Air all the way through. I'm going to just unmute the Sopranos for their opening verse, because otherwise that opening verse becomes quite boring, doesn't it? Here we go. I'll turn them off again as soon as you start singing. From the top, here it comes.
We're walking in the air, we're floating in the moonlit sky. The people far below are sleeping as we fly.
hiding in the midnight blue. I'm finding I can fly so high above with you. On across the world, the villages go by like dreams. The rivers and the hills, the forests and the streams. Children gaze open-mouthed, taken by surprise. Nobody down below believes their eyes. We're surfing in the air. We're swimming in the frozen sky. We're drifting over icy mountains floating by. Suddenly, swooping low on an ocean deep, rousing up a mighty monster from his sleep. Arise, arise, we're walking in the air. We're dancing in the midnight sky, and everyone who sees us greets us as we fly. Walking in the air, walking in the air with you.
And we melt away like snow in springtime. Marvellous stuff. Thank you so much for giving that a good old go. Looking forward very much to more of the same next time. Till then, have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Night for now.